Welcome to Asenso Tayo Leaders, where we bring you real stories from leaders like you so you can lead with more clarity, direction, and confidence.
Welcome back to the Asenso Tayo Leaders podcast. I'm Michael Back. As always, I am joined by the one, the only Maria Asoro. We just had a really, really interesting interview, and not because of what he said, but I think the story of how this one came about is interesting. So the way we usually choose guests for the podcast is people in our business at 5Elk, or just in our network or circle, or, friends of people we work with who I recommend. But there's always some degree of we kind of know the person. We know what they're going to talk about. They're going to do a good job. This was the first time we got an email from the blue from someone we never had met before saying, hey, listen to your podcast. Absolutely love it. Would love to be on your podcast. And maybe we're just getting a bit old and cynical, Maria, or maybe we have a bit of imposter syndrome, but we weren't sure if it was legit. We were like, is this just someone who wants to get on the podcast and sell stuff? We were just a little bit skeptical. And even 2 or 3 minutes before the episode started, we were like, this might not last very long. If this isn't going in the direction we want, we are comfortable cutting this one short. But we just had the most beautiful conversation with someone who understands and cares so deeply about the Filipino people, who has so much experience and wisdom.
So in today's episode with Asenso Tayo Leaders, guys, again, it's a very special guest who reached out all the way from the US. It's Coach Kevin Voisin. And, he's known for his diverse journey from working from public service, and he talked about a lot of seafood industry, crab specifically, and speaking to global stages, 50,000 clients, and has been featured in the New York Times too, and served as a official in Louisiana, and has spent years supporting the community. And he talks about the community often. And he's a founder of Form Legend, a coaching organization, built in pillars of faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. But as earlier mentioned, caught our attention as well is the connection to the Philippines. Coach Kevin has worked with Filipino virtual assistants, shout out to Bernadette, for years and years, and has led, I think he mentioned 2002. And he has expressed how much he values the loyalty, dedication, and the strong family values that Filipinos bring.
That was one of the most powerful conversations we've had the pleasure of having on the podcast. But I just feel really grateful that we can now share this type of expertise, energy, thinking with our listeners. It's a pretty lovely gift that we get to pay forward. So this is a special conversation, guys. Wherever you are in the world, I almost guarantee that there is something incredibly valuable for you in the next hour or however long the episode ends up going for.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's dive into our conversation with Coach Kevin. Before anything else, Coach, how can I pronounce your last name? I just want to be sure.
So it's really hard to pronounce and look at at the same time. So first thing is, don't try to read it or it won't work. It's French. So it's Cajun French. So it's not even French. It's Cajun French. So it's really just Louisiana says it this way. But if you think of the word Tarzan, but then put a W instead of the T, so Warzan, but then get rid of the R. So Wazan. Like Tarzan with a W, no R.
Oh my.
It's not French and it's not English. It's not Spanish. It's like a combination. We're Cajun French. So Wazan. You'll never get it and look at it at the same time. It's even hard for me to look at and say.
You did such a good job of it. It was almost like you've given that explanation 20,000 times in your life.
Yeah, totally. That's why I just go by Coach Kevin. It's just simpler.
Wow. We were debating it beforehand, and what did you think it was, Maria? Voisin?
Yeah, Voisin.
Yeah. Like raisin.
That would be the English pronunciation. And then I lived in France for a couple of years. So I'm totally fluent in French, which was great because I lived in a foreign country as a foreigner. So that helps me with my team. But in French, it would be voisin. But it's not voisin. It's voisin. It's the middle. So
that was my guess. I was looking at it going, if it's French, if it's a bit out of the box, it's going to be voisin. But I would never have expected voisin.
Yeah, it's French who were colonized by Spanish and then taken over by Americans. Does that sound familiar to you, Philippines? I mean, I'm
Yes, of
telling you,
course.
Louisiana is like we have such a similar history. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
very similar. Yeah, the only difference is we had Japanese as well and
My
became
my
Filipino.
grandfather was beaten by a ruler because he came to school and spoke French, and they whipped him until he would only speak English. That's cool.
Oh,
And we lost the
wow.
French language in one generation. We lost the French language from
Wow.
school. Does that
Wow.
sound familiar? I'm telling you, like Louisiana and the
Yeah.
Philippines have so much in common. It's just
Oh,
crazy.
oh man.
What are some of the other things that you've noticed? Because I think, part of the start of our episodes is usually let's help, position you and help show your connection to the world of our listeners.
Yeah.
It seems like
Mm.
you've already
No,
done that. So how
yeah,
do you see the similarities between Louisiana and the Philippines?
big families. Like we love one another. Something could happen at any moment that the whole neighborhood has to come together. For you guys, it's more like earthquakes, and monsoons. For us, it's like hurricanes,
Mm.
and flooding and different things. So we all know that, like, hey, at any moment we might need each other. We do have some very rich elements, but by and large, we're one of the lowest economic, states in the United States. And so even though we do work that has value all over, I mean, the
Mm.
Louisiana workers built most of, the oil fields, like in Iran right now, all that oil, we built all that equipment way
Mm.
back in the day, like back in the
Really?
70s. We built all the platforms in the North Sea. Like we did all this work that everybody makes billions of dollars from, but we were just the guys who built it. You know what I mean? So it's just, again, it's just so many parallels. And
Mm.
that's why very early on, I really just targeted, I have all these companies who try to get us to hire other cultures. And I'm like, no, this works for me because it's like working with people from home. Like we match really, really well, except
Mm.
for I'm very direct, brash, and loud. And that is different. But I'm different for Louisiana.
Yeah, that might just be because you're built differently.
Yeah, literally.
Nice. I suppose those similarities. Well, we're going really off track here, but let's
Yeah,
let's go down this path.
that's good. Mm.
I suppose when you started working, because you said that you had your first Filipino team member in 2002, that was way before most of the Western world had even considered the idea of having a team member outside their office, let alone outside their country, let alone in the Philippines. So you're like super early adopter. Did those similarities help you build rapport quicker, or is this something that you've just more learned over time? Or was it really, yeah.
Yeah, I had people from all over the world. I've had, India, Pakistan, Eastern Bloc, like I've South America, but I just noticed that like whenever I would have a Filipino, it just worked, and it took me a long time to understand why. But I just got them. Like when the
Hmm.
power would go out for no reason. I mean, that used to happen where I'm from too. Like it just, yeah, I get it. Like there's a heavy storm, the power's going to go out. Like that happened at my house my whole life, right? I mean, like it still happens today. I could be talking to my mom and it just goes dark at her house because it's in Louisiana. I didn't have a problem with that, and they were surprised I kind of got it. Like I wasn't angry or
Mm.
anything. And so it just really worked. And like when a typhoon would come, instead of being mad that it couldn't work, I was like, man, that sucks. Like, stay dry. Here's some money for groceries. Like, we'll prepay you for a couple of weeks. And that's what we do in
Yeah.
Louisiana for each other, right? We just take care of each other. I know what that's
Yeah.
like. I've watched my neighbor's house get blown away. Like, that's real life. Like, okay, okay, work is going to be a couple days late. Like, nobody died. No one's ever died because their marketing program was delivered 2 days late. You have a
Yeah.
typhoon coming. Like, that's real life. And so
Yeah.
we just always fit really well. Just, I mean, it always was. So we just kind of did it more and more and more. And then I
Mm.
have a business partner now in our newest venture, which is GSD Ninjas, and she's from Mindanao. I mean, she's from General Santos City. She owns 20% of the company. I wouldn't do it without
Mm.
her. She was a VA. Funny story, when I hired her, she was young and she looks younger than she is. But I found like an old Facebook. I was like researching her. He's like, well, I don't know, let's make sure this is the real person. And I actually found an old Facebook profile of hers from when she was like 12. She'll die. I'm telling the story. And she looks young already. So when she was 12, she looked like 8. And I was like, how is this person applying? That
Mm.
part of why I wanted to hire her is I was like, man, I want to see like what an 8-year-old can do. Like, this is crazy. Like, how is she? And then of course she showed up to the interview, and she wasn't nearly that young. I'd seen the
Oh,
wrong
that's
Facebook
so
profile.
funny. That's
And we've
so
been
funny.
we've been great partners ever since. I mean, she started. I remember
So
telling her
cool.
like, "Hey, if we do this right, we're gonna own an agency together, and like you're gonna grow as I grow." And I just love it, man. I'm really driven to, in our company, make sure that we recognize the value that we have in the whole team, and the value to be able to teach people in another culture what I think we inherently know a little better. Like, money doesn't care. Money doesn't have values. Money doesn't care. Money is just neutral. Like money is just a flow. And if you want some of it, then you need to get close to big pieces of it and either have a bucket or a pipe or a pump or some way to produce value that gets that money to flow to you. And we do this with our teams. We teach them. We have a, just similar to what you guys do here with the podcast. Once a week, we have a team meeting of the whole team, and it's just coaching. I mean, I'm a coach, right? I mean, that's what I do. I help highly successful people have success across their whole life, not just in money. And why wouldn't I do that for the team? About 5 years ago, we used to do the same thing everybody did. We would, do the, oh, hey, here's what projects are we late? Like, here's, all the normal stuff we do to run a business. And I just realized, like, people are paying me money. I'm watching their whole life transform. And then here's these people who are actually spending their life with me. Like, they're actually giving me the part of a good, significant part of their life. And I don't teach them anything.
Yeah.
What do I talk to them about? Like deadlines? They're like, who cares? Like, let's have lives that we want here. Like, what if we started with us? And once we started doing that, just the culture got great. We have people who really perform, or you fall out of the team, and the whole team is happy for you to fall out if you don't perform. Why? Because we all perform. It's not a brutal thing. It's not like mean. It's just, hey, if you can't keep up, that's okay. But this is how fast we run. So we all want to grow. We all want to, open our mind to what the next level of our life is. And, it's fun. I mean, I just love it, and I mesh well with the people. And I have a lot of, I would say that I have a lot of the natural Filipino insecurities. One thing I've learned about the Filipino culture, nobody likes their nose in the Philippines. There's nobody who's like, I have a great nose. Everyone hates their nose in the Philippines. I hate my nose too. My dad hated his nose. So maybe that's it. But,
Maria, what do you think he knows?
Yeah, that's so true. I hate my nose, Becky.
Everyone.
Remember when I told you, Becky, like I wear the glasses with the thing on the tip because if I just wear regular glasses, it will fall down. Remember I mentioned that?
Yes, I do remember you saying yes.
Every employee I have, like, we require everything is by video every day. Everybody checks in with here's their signal and here's what they think is going to be noise for their day. And at the end of their day, they do a stoplight check-in saying, hey, here's green light, yellow light, red light. And everything has to be video because we're remote, right? It's like, how are we going to get to know each other if we don't see each other? All of our meetings, everybody's camera's on. If you can't turn your camera on, I mean, I understand like a day you can't because you have bad signal, fine. Yeah. But like, if you won't turn your camera on, then you just can't work at our team. Yeah. And that's the number one thing. And I've just started saying it now in the interviews. It's like, hey, we get it. None of us like our noses either. It's what it is. Yeah. Like, let it go. I mean, nobody likes their own nose. Nobody likes their own feet. I mean, I don't know why. We just don't. But,
nobody likes their own voices.
Says the woman with like the most smooth voice I've heard. As a female host, I don't know that I've ever heard a more smooth voice. I listened to a couple podcasts to prepare, and I just kept listening because I was like, oh, wow, what a great voice. So,
I agree. But I was thinking that with the nose, like, does anyone love their nose? And maybe you're tapping into something here where it's like, we all think that's a personal struggle, but really we're all having the same thing. Yeah. Because I don't like my nose.
What's funny is like, how do you even know what your nose looks like? If it wasn't for this camera, this screen or like a mirror, the one nose you don't have to look at ever is yours. Like, it's the only one that you don't have to look at. Like, if you don't like it, cool. You're totally choosing to look at it. Let it go. It's fine.
Yeah. Unless
if everybody around you is saying your nose is ugly, like if every person you meet is like, wow, what happened to your nose? Okay. You probably, I have some of the most beautiful employees who I just don't get it. And when I'm like, well, what does beauty look like to you? And they'll show me and I'm like, oh yeah, that girl is down the street here. Like that girl's not from the Philippines. And then I look at my daughter here, her magazine on the cover right now. And of course, we love to be tan here. One of the most shocking things for me when I went to the Philippines is no one wants to be tan at all. My wife was concerned because we did this retreat and we went out to the 100 Islands park and we rented a boat. And my wife was like, hey, you got to be careful with the pictures because a lot of your staff is girls. And like, it's going to look weird if you're like on a boat with a bunch of girls in bikinis. It's like, oh yeah, that's true. I need to be really careful. Oh, it didn't. It looked like I was on the boat with a bunch of nuns. And then another, like, I was like, I sent back the picture. I'm like, I don't think we have to worry. Like, this does not look.
Because they're all hiding from the sun.
No one wants to be in the sun, right? But here, when I look at my daughter's like beauty magazine, guess what's on the front? A very tan Asian girl, which she'll never be. Why? Because her nose doesn't look like that. I mean, here we go. We have the girls with the nose you want your nose, and you want their nose. And what if we all just loved our noses? I mean, what if we just said, hey, it's my nose? It is the one nose I can't see. That's okay. I'll just let it be. It's
That's
who I
right.
am, right?
Yeah.
If we want to be powerful people, right? So let's get this back. I know we're off on all the tangents, which is my specialty.
We're
If you
on the
want to be a
right
powerful
tangent.
person,
Yeah.
yeah, if you want
I'm
to be a
sure of
powerful
that.
person, then love the nose you got. Because it's the nose you got. Look at Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, unquestionably one of the most famous, powerful, awesome, coolest people to ever be on the planet. Like at the time that he was famous, he was it. He passed Frank Sinatra, he passed Elvis. And you know what he hated? He hated his own nose. He could never be comfortable with his own
Mm,
face. You know what I mean? Like it was never good enough for him. So like if his
yeah.
nose wasn't good enough with all the surgeries, why is mine going to be good
Mm,
enough? What if I just said, hey, okay, that's a downside for me, but there's a lot of other things going for me. So I'm not going to be a nose model. I'll do something else. And I can be powerfully imperfect because the real problem here, and it's the problem in Louisiana, it's the problem in the Philippines, it's the problem with most leaders, truly. The real problem is the misperception that there is something called perfection. What's the perfect nose, right? Like that's
Yeah.
silly. Like perfection is a lie. It just is like the horizon. Like if you look out over the ocean and you see the horizon, guess what? That's a lie. It doesn't exist. Like you'll never stand on the horizon. Why? Because the horizon is imaginary. You
mm,
imagine that that's where the air meets the water. But you imagined it. It's not real. If you try to walk to the horizon, guess what's going to happen? It's just going to keep moving because it's not a real place. It's an imagined place that allows you to navigate your environment. Perfection, right? This perfect nose, Maria, that you think you might want to have, and I've already given up on. That is what it's like the horizon. It helps you navigate, right, your life, but it's not real. When you get
Yeah.
closer to it, guess like Michael Jackson did, then you'll need another surgery, and then you'll need another surgery, and then you'll need some more makeup and this other contour. And you'll never really get there because the closer you get to it, the farther it moves away. It has a place in life because it helps us to navigate, right?
mm,
But I've just
Mm.
embraced being powerfully imperfect. Like I look like this, and I'm okay with that because even looking like this, I'm a force of nature. Like I'm not the only force of nature, I'm not the strongest force of nature, but I am a force of nature. If you're with me and you're in contact with me, you will feel me. You will feel my presence. Now, here's the fun thing. If you're listening to this, so are you. So are you. It's not a question, are you a force of nature? You are. Are you felt though? Do you make yourself heard? Do you make yourself seen? You don't have to, right? Like the
Mhm.
only thing for sure in life is you're going to die. Everything else is optional. Living, having power, leading, all optional. You don't
mm,
have to do it. You have to die. One day you're going to die. Everything else though is optional. And I want to be heard. I want to, have this nose and see what I can do with it anyway. And I think more people need to lean in and realize that you are a force of nature. You do have the power to stand up. You do have the power. Yeah, maybe you're not going to be a billionaire. Who cares? Like,
mm,
when did that become the gold standard for a great life? I mean, it is. It's one way. It's one cool thing. It's not like I would be sad to be that. But man, there's so many other ways to have an impact. And guess what? If you want to be a billionaire, start with $100. Have you ever made $100? Have you ever made 1,000? Just climb the ladder. Don't worry about the billion. Worry about the 100, then the 200, and go from there. And what you'll find
Steps.
is you'll gain
Mm.
confidence because you can actually do that. And then when you actually
mm,
do it, you're like, oh wow, okay, that wasn't that bad. I could do it again.
mm. It's really interesting hearing you talk about the phrase force of nature. In Australia, if someone's a force of nature, they have enormous energy. They come into a room and like command attention. It's almost like that Tony Robbins thing where, he could get 5,000 people to walk across coals. But I'm getting a feeling your take on a force of nature is somewhat different to that level of
No,
energy, and it's something that's accessible to everyone.
it's
Yeah.
exactly the same here. And if you don't think that you're that, Michael, you're selling yourself short.
Mm.
Because you know what? You have any kids? Do you guys have any kids? I don't know if you have any kids.
Maria has
Yep.
I
children. I
have
have fur
How
children.
many
three
kids, Marie?
children. I've got two boys.
Perfect. You remember that moment that your boy was born, your first boy? We'll go to the first one. I'm the oldest, so I think the first is the best, but it's not really
Yeah.
true. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just humor me.
Yeah.
You remember, you remember that moment your boy was born?
Yeah.
In
Of
that
course.
moment, there was this moment, and I have 5 kids. Okay. So I've seen this 4 times. I wasn't there for one. In that moment, literally nothing else mattered. That kid was born, and it is like all time stopped. And it didn't matter if things were alive or dead. It didn't. It's like the whole world just faded away. And there was this perfect love, amazing force of nature. And you know what
Mm.
he did to deserve that? Nothing. Just born. Just
Yeah.
exist. The existence of this new life. Side note, you're the miracle, Maria, to be able to produce that. Like, That's amazing to me. All mothers who are hearing my voice, like, you guys are the miracle. Yes, babies are a miracle, but yo, you made that. Like, you created that, right? I mean, I maybe had a little, like, I commissioned a project, but I didn't do it. Like, you guys created life. And then this life comes out. So we all agree, like, if you watch a baby born, it is amazing, right? How come, Maria, now at whatever age you are, you no longer have that value? That didn't get erased. Like, you're that same, you were that baby. When your mom had you, that same moment happened. That same miracle of life was you. But then we forget and we pretend like that's not us anymore. And we pretend like it's reserved for, like, the guys with all the energy, or whoever's the loudest, or whoever's the best, but that's crazy. If only the best person matters. And thank you, social media, for letting us know who it is. My 11-year-old son doesn't want to run because he thinks he'll never be as fast as Usain Bolt. Like, think about that for a second. Like, there's 8 billion people on the earth. I think if you're the second most, doesn't invalidate all of your life, right? There's so much value in who you are. There's so much value in that force. Like, you are a force of nature. You can influence first yourself, and then your family, whatever that is for you, and then maybe your community, right? And then maybe like a state, or maybe a province, or maybe a country, or maybe the whole world, or maybe everyone ever. Like, maybe you can influence all of history, right? I don't know, but you'll never know if you don't start with yourself. You have the chance to change everyone around you, but you really have the chance to change you first. And that's power. That matters.
I feel like this message that you're sharing, and the one you just shared before around the horizon, they're not theoretical concepts. They're things that you have experienced maybe the other side of, and you're so passionate about them because you've had to go through some season of your life or some experience that's taught you these things.
I've hit the floor a lot. I always say that I somehow have to learn everything teeth first. Like, I don't just fall face first, and my nose is
nose
broken.
First.
Nose first, exactly. No, I failed in massive ways. When I decided to become a coach, I had massive success, really beyond what was possible. I moved from Houma, Louisiana, which is the very southern tip of Louisiana, to Laguna Beach, California, which is one of the, like, highest net worth zip codes in the US. When I tried to rent my house when I moved to California to be a coach, they wouldn't rent it to me because they said, well, you've never rented anything, that's even 1/6 the rent here. And I said, yeah, because in my town, there's not, unless I rented a commercial building, there's no house I could rent for them. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. They're like, well, you need to prove that you have the money. I'm like, well, what if I send you 6 months rent? And they're like, okay, well, we'll do that, right?
That'll do.
But that's what it took. Like, literally, that's how big of a jump I made, right? And I was just killing it. I felt so great. And then the company I was with took a different turn. So I was on my own. I said, you know what? I know how to do this. I'm going to invest everything. I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to make this business happen. And, 7 partners, $700,000 later, we were completely broke. I mean, we didn't know how to eat. I mean, I remember there was a month that we ate because someone totaled our car and we got an insurance settlement. I literally, and for the only time in my life, couldn't even figure out how to, like, it wasn't even like, will we pay rent? It was like, oh man, how are we going to buy groceries this month? I don't know how many people have been excited that a DUI driver hit their car. It was parked, so no one was in it.
Thank God.
But we were actually happy. We're like, oh wow, we could maybe get money for this. Like, maybe that's how we're going to eat, right?
Yeah.
And we've recovered from that. Maybe not fully, but I mean, hey, we bet our life savings and we lost. Bad. Like, we sold the house, bet it all, and lost it all. I could say we lost, but really we learned. Okay, that's not what to do. Right. So many people, and I've coached, like I said, over 50,000 people. I've coached several billionaires, right?
50,000.
It's crazy, right? And in an intimate way, like face to face, not just like I'm not counting like one big crowd I had of 50,000 one time because I opened for somebody.
Yeah.
Just like thousands of people through 90-day challenges where I see them once a week. And I've coached 6 billionaires. All 6 of those guys have stories. All but one of them was suicidal when I met him. And all of them have stories about, do you know what it's like to owe someone $500 million? Because all those guys at some point owed hundreds of millions, and something happened in their company where it looked like they were never going to pay it back. And owing someone $500 sucks. I can only imagine 500 million. Like, you start questioning your life and the life of your kids. And like, these guys took a lot of risk. They took a lot of damage. And then, they also had a big success. Great. I'm happy for that. But like, every success comes with a price. I constantly will do this in rooms of people, and we'll say, well, who's ever made the most? Let's figure out who's made the most money here. Who has a company that's done 10 million? Who's had a company that's done 100 million? Who, you know, and you'll see like there'll be 2 or 3 guys that are over here in the highest earners. And then the very next thing I'll do is say, okay, what's the biggest amount of money you've ever lost? And guess who are the same people that have lost the most? It's the guys who won. They didn't win. Success is not the absence of failure. Failure is how we learn to succeed, right? I mean, think about it. Do you remember learning to walk? Probably not. Most of us don't. I don't. But you learned to walk by failing. You learned everything in your life by failing. I don't know what happened, but somehow when we got like 13, suddenly it wasn't cool to fail anymore. But it's actually the only way you'll ever learn anything in your life. You have to be bad at it. You have to fail. Now, maybe you can find a safe way to fail, and maybe you can find, you know, a way to practice. But failure is the path to success. And those who have the most success are those who are willing to endure the most failure. It's just what it is. You know, I wish it was different. I wish, but you know, it's just what it is. I mean, I've lost in business, I've lost in family, I've lost in it all. And you start to realize that you're still here. Like I said, I was a survivor of Hurricane Katrina. My house survived. The storm kind of like skipped us. 4,000 houses south of my house were destroyed. 225,000 houses north of my home were destroyed. It was a level of devastation I can't even describe. Okay. And you know what? That community after that thrived even more than it had before. There was a ton of tragedy, but also we came together and we became stronger from that.
Yeah.
Failure is not the end. Failure is the beginning. All of the best things that have ever happened to me in my life initially presented as trauma. Initially presented as, oh my gosh. Oh my
hopelessness
gosh.
kind of thing.
Yeah, the company's over. We lost our biggest client. Or,
Yeah.
But then you pivot and you're like, oh, actually, here's this other person. And we actually feel even better with them. Let's go do that.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting you say that, because if I think of the people I know who are the happiest, they're not the ones with the most. And you can flip that too. If I think of the people in my life who are the least happy, objectively on the surface, you could almost argue they have more than
everything,
the majority of people, but there is something missing. And I do wonder if it's something to do with what you were saying before about, you know, chasing a better nose or looking for the horizon. It's like you're heading towards something that doesn't exist.
Of course, if you think the horizon is a place, if you spend your whole life thinking, I will stand on the horizon. Like, even think about it. What are the pictures we love? It's right on the top of a mountain, right? Which is the closest thing you'll get to a horizon.
Yeah.
But guess what? Your next step is you get to the top of a mountain. Guess what you see? From the top of a mountain, you see other mountains. You see other peaks. You see all the peaks that you're not on, right? And what's your next step from there? Down. Doesn't matter what direction you go. Your next step is down. And then people are like, oh, I failed. No, you didn't fail. Not at all. Like, in fact, look at the metaphor, right? At the peak, no one can live at the peak. Nobody lives at the top of a mountain. It's horrible. There's no food. There's no water. It's cold. It's really hard to get to, right? No one wants to live at the top. Down in the valleys is where all the game is. It's where the water is. It's where the people are. It's where the meat and wonderful part of life is. Now, of course, we want to go to peaks. Of course, we want to go have these experiences. Of course, we want to push ourselves. But we have to stop pretending that, like, the valley is horrible and the peak is wonderful. It's such a simplistic, like, win or lose mindset that doesn't serve. Stop trying to find, like, the right way to be happy. Just be happy. There's no right way. It's working or it's not. Like, does it work? Does it not? That's where I think we just fool ourselves. And we think we can stand on the horizon. And while we're not on the horizon, we therefore say we are less than. Because look at all the other people standing on the horizon, but they're not. It's just a picture. And our mind pretends there's a horizon there, right? Just like if I had the perfect nose, I would be beautiful. Or if I had the perfect, and insert whatever your insecurity is, well, you know what? I've run with a lot of really successful people. In fact, one of my friends in France was the photographer for Yves Saint Laurent for a long time, like for all the different ads that they did. And guess what? Top models, some of them extremely insecure. That's not what you see on TV. But then when you get back into the dressing room, extremely insecure people. Because why? Because they're only hang out with the most beautiful people on the earth. I mean, my nose is ugly, but I hang out with other people who have ugly noses, so it's okay. Like, I don't have to worry, right? I don't hang out with the most beautiful noses on the earth and every time I show up to work, right? I'm happy to just wander around. Here's my qualifications. If you're listening to me and you want to hear a bio and you want to know what's important about me, I'm human. I've made a lot of
Yeah.
mistakes. I'm a really good coach because I've made a lot of mistakes. Whatever mistake you're about to make, I probably made it. I can show you the scar and tell you why, hey, that's why I wouldn't do that, right? Like
Mm.
that's how I
Mm.
got this scar, right?
Oh
Is
man.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But what's going to resonate with you is what I'm telling you is the truth, and it's an
Yeah.
integrity. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm absolutely imperfect in almost every way. I
Mm.
don't
Mm.
have it all figured out, and nobody does. Nobody does.
Yeah.
Beware the person who says they have it figured out, because even if they do, which they don't, but even if they do, they have it figured out for them. You know,
Yeah.
like we think of the statistics of all the people, like what is success? Well, let's say financial. Okay, well, success is if I make six figures or above. Let's just randomly say that, right? And then
Yeah.
we look at
Mm.
all the dots of all the people and we say, okay, well, then the average person is here. So I'm above average. No, you're not above average. You're one dot. You're one thing. Like all statistics breaks down in a sample size of one. And you in your life are one. You're one. There's only one of you, right? I'm 6'4". I don't know how tall you are, Maria. Pretty sure it's not
Oh,
that tall. If I try to put on your
Six
jacket, it's
five.
going to
Yeah.
look ridiculous. It's not going to fit. I'm going to break it to put it on, right?
for sure.
Why would I want to put your jacket on? Because it's
Mm.
your jacket. It looks beautiful on you. On me, it would be ridiculous. If I put my coat on you, you might disappear. Like who knows? Like we may not even see you. Why?
Yeah.
Because that jacket fits me. We don't walk around and think that we can just fit in someone else's shoes. We all know, like, hey, there's a size. Like maybe their feet are bigger or smaller. But then when we get to life, we think we can fit in everyone else's life. Oh,
Mm.
well, Alex Hormozy did this. Well, so what? That works for Alex. He's got a very unique situation. Like maybe you can learn some pieces of that and then apply them
Mm.
to you. Yeah, that's awesome. But go do what he did. It's not going to work for you. You're not him,
Mm.
right? You want to be David Goggins? Go do exactly what he did. You're probably just going to break and end up in the
Yeah.
hospital because you're not him. He's a unique guy. He can do certain things that you can't do. But guess what? You can do certain things that no one else can do. And when you start playing
Mhm.
that game, things get really, really fun, right?
Yeah.
We are all a set of one. You are not trying to live the perfect life because no one knows what that is for you. No one,
Mm.
except for you.
Yeah, you've touched something really powerful because, like you've mentioned, with the Filipino culture, sometimes we all think of, we have this image of a perfect career. Like they say, sometimes there's a list with, particularly Asian moms and Filipino moms in general, saying, okay, the only roles that you should become in the future would be either a doctor, a lawyer. Yeah, so that's really powerful. And Kevin, you've been giving us a lot of inputs about, the horizon and very interesting, mind-blowing ideas. But I want to just make sure I don't want to miss this podcast without asking you what drew you into this whole level of coaching with people. You mentioned 50,000, right? Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
gosh. I honestly didn't realize that's how big it is. But yeah, what drew you to coaching?
So this is the true story, and this is where you're going to see my Filipino, right? I'm not Pinoy, but I could be. I should be. I'd be one of the bigger ones. But I was working at an agency,
Okay.
and I
Yeah.
was trying to figure out how to expand my agency. I'm looking online, and I see this advertisement of this guy, and truly, I couldn't hear it. I wasn't reading it. I was doing my job. I was looking to try to find, what the next social trend was. This is way back in 2014, and I wanted to copy the ad because I was like, I needed to tell the team, like, hey, we need to be making stuff like this. Like, this is cool. Like, it's working. It's really cool looking. Why don't we make stuff like this? Right. So, in order to show the team, I was like, oh, I'll screenshot it. In order to screenshot it, I had to turn on the audio. And when I turned on the audio, I became transfixed because I had wrecked my first marriage. I checked all the boxes. I did it all, man. I was the best at church. I was the best at sports. I started college when I was 15. True story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, just everything that any box you could check to show that you were an achiever and that I did it. And then I found myself at like 32 living with my wife and miserable. I hated my life because I had checked a whole bunch of other people's boxes, right? And I heard, I think it was you, Michael, talk about this, where it's like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
I climbed this wall. Awesome. I don't want to be at the top of this wall. Right.
Yeah.
Great. I'm winning a game I don't want to play. And
Yep.
this is when I
Yeah.
shaved my head. I was in the bathroom one day and I realized this. And I'm like, I want to change my life right now. And I realized that I
Yeah.
couldn't. I was running with my dad. I was running an 8th generation business for my family,
What type of agency was it?
a marketing agency. So we're doing
Marketing
branding.
agency.
Yeah,
Ah,
branding
okay.
and marketing.
Right.
This is when the web was still kind of new. So we were
Yeah.
like really
Yeah.
specialized in having like your brochures match your website. Like, hey, your whole thing could be the
Yeah.
same, right?
Yeah, cool.
And so I was just trying to make it look cool. And then I heard this guy And he was talking. I had just remarried. Okay. So I just remarried my wife today, the love of my life, Whitney. And I realized listening to him that I was the same guy. So like if you just fast forward my life in 5 years, I still didn't know what game I wanted to play. And I was probably going to do the same thing. Like I'd probably be divorced twice, maybe have another kid. It's not that I wanted to be on the same path. It's not that I was like planning on it, but I knew that I hadn't really fixed who I was. I knew that like wherever you go, there you are. It's like my problems were following me. I already in that moment had some of the same problems with my new wife, who is totally different than my first wife, had some of the same problems with her. And it's like, well, how is that possible? Well, yeah, I guess I'm still in the relationship, right? And so I just went to an event. I mean, this guy's event was super expensive. I didn't have the money. I had just gotten an American Express gold card. I didn't even know what the limit was. I called and just put it on the card. I had almost no money in the bank, but I had a card, and that got me into the event. I went to the event, and it just completely changed me, just rocked me. And so I wanted to go again. And so I found a way to go again, and I found a way to go again. And eventually I started coaching the thing, and eventually I was the head coach. And after leaving there, then I ended up running programs, and I was a customer, and I just realized like, this is what I really wanted to do,
Amazing.
That's so interesting, because when Maria asked you that question, there was part of me going, Kevin's going to say he was born to be a coach since he was a kid. It's just because like you just exude coach, and not in a way where I'm like, oh, this guy's must have done a lot of courses. It's just who you are. Like this persona is so self-expressed. It's like just exactly what you're born to do. But I can't believe that it's only something that you've really been doing for the last 10 to 12 years. Like it's not something you've been doing for the last 40 to 50 years.
When you find your true calling, like when you find who you really are, and I don't mean find like out there. I mean, you actually accept it. You're already the thing. You realize that you've been that the whole time. Why would people pay me to do marketing? Because I could coach them through what they needed to do. I was a missionary for 2 years. Why? Because I could coach people to help them see themselves spiritually. Why? Like there's all these different things. When I finally gave up the marketing side, and I'm back a little bit now because my daughter and I are starting a little company together with Jokobeb. When I finally gave it up, I went to a marketing meeting. She had paid for this big ad thing. It was for an event. I sat down and she handed me a check. It was like $20,000 for the ad spend and everything. And I started to explain to her how we were going to, do her campaign. And she literally cut me off. She said, "Hey, do you believe in it? Like, you really think this is going to work?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Cool. Because every time you come here, we end up talking about my marriage, and I could really use some advice." And I realized she's like, "So do whatever you're going to do. It always works. Can we talk about this?" And I realized like, oh, wow, I'm a paid coach. Like she's actually only buying marketing because she wants to sit and coach.
She just wants to hang out with you.
Yeah. And it was great. I mean, it worked. Like it worked for both of us. So then I was like, well, maybe I just stop pretending to be a marketer and coach.
Yeah. I want to unpack the word coach. So it's just before this interview, I got off a meeting with someone. We're talking about some coaching for our coaches in 5L.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how I think there's a blurry line in a lot of people's brain between managing and coaching. And I think something coaching is, people in a sporting context, it is the clearest thing in the entire world, what coaching is and what it looks like. I think in the business world, it's vague. It could almost sometimes be relegated into a corporate buzzword that doesn't really have much meaning. And I suppose stepping into the shoes of a listener, I wonder if they go, oh, well, a coach is something like, a dude like Kevin is a coach, but I'm not a coach. My job title doesn't say coach. Do
you really want to know my definition of coach? Because I'm
going
to disappoint you really bad. So you can look it up on Google and check me. But a coach is a horse-drawn carriage, usually closed, right? And that sounds ridiculous. I actually think it's the best definition of coach ever. It's a horse-drawn carriage, which means a coach is something to get you from where you are to where you want to be.
I just realized what you were saying. It's a stagecoach.
And every other definition of coach is great, mentor, all this. But honestly, why do you hire a coach? Because you're somewhere and you want to be somewhere else. And this is the difference between coaching and counseling, right? Counseling is like healing wounds, dealing with your issues and all so that you can heal for it. Cool. I love it. Like counseling is about like, how did you get in this hole? How do you heal from this hole? And let's not fall in this hole again. Cool. I love that. I have counselors. I love counselors and therapists, but that's not what I do. I don't care how you fell in the hole. I want to get you out. I know where you are and I know where you want to go. And we set a plan from that. Right. And so coach is someone who sees where you are, sees your true potential, and then helps you to get there. right?
Yeah.
If you give them permission
Literally,
to do that.
coach.
Literally,
but
coach.
it's such a great definition when you think about it. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the only difference in me
Realize that.
is like,
Yeah.
if I was picking you up in a horse-drawn carriage, the horses would do the work. But
That's it. That's
I'm
the
a life
difference.
coach, so you're the
Yeah.
passenger and the horses. Like, you
Yeah.
have to do the work too.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. You're sitting in the coach, but you're also the horse's legs.
Yeah.
100%. Or it doesn't work. If
Yeah.
I do the work for you, which I can, like some
Uh-huh.
things I can actually just get
Yeah.
you there. Like there's certain things
Yeah.
as a coach you realize, like, oh, I could just get them there. But then if I do that, then they haven't learned. It reminds me of my daughter. We talked about like learning to walk. So my oldest daughter, Hunter Eve, who's starting this company with me now, I was so proud of her. But I can remember when she was learning to walk, she would get on the table and like take some steps, and she would get to the corner, so the table was over, and she would fall. And so, of course, being a loving parent, I would catch her because I didn't want her to get hurt. But after a while, I realized like the way she was walking was take 2 steps and fall, because she was learning to fall and get caught, and she was thinking that's how you walk. And so, being the great coach and dad that I am, I'm like, oh, I'm hurting her by catching her. I better stop. So the very next thing that happened is she took her 2 steps and she fell, and I didn't catch her. And she hit the couch, and then she face planted into the coffee table, and then fell on her arm weird. Was just screaming and crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst dad in the world, comforted her, picked her up, put her on the table. And then guess what happened? She never fell again.
Yeah.
Felt the pain, and then she never fell again. So the danger, a bad coach will get you there, like will force you there, but then it's not yours. Like they did that. And so you haven't really learned anything, But to me, that's what a coach is. It's a horse-drawn carriage. Every client, it's different. Where are we? Where are we going? And the biggest thing for the client is, can you actually tell the truth of where you are to where you're going? If you have $100 in your account, so let's say you have less than 1,000 pesos in your account right now, right? Don't set a target to be a millionaire. Don't do that. Like hit 10,000, hit 1,000. That's great.
Yeah.
Like get really where you are to really where you need to go is so much more valuable than something that, like, look, it doesn't mean you won't eventually get there. Of course you're going to eventually get there. Anything that anybody has done, you can do it, but be real about where you are and where you're going. And what I see happening in the world is people get into a hole. Like maybe it's their relationship, maybe it's on the rocks, maybe it's work, business. I mean, right now, I'm upskilling my team so much, and I'm just like, guys, if we don't learn this new thing, you don't have a job. Like, because then I won't have it. No one's gonna have it. We move this direction, like we move right now and do different things, or we don't exist. And that's not all levels of society. It's kind of a fun one. AI is kind of fun because it hits the top almost the same as the bottom. When people fall in a hole like that, though, what do? They fall in the hole, they're hurt, they're wishing, or they're poor, or whatever it is. And then they try to figure out, how did this happen? Why did this happen? And then the worst one of all, who did this? Right? As if they had nothing to do with it. So if you're sitting at the bottom of a pit that you've fallen into, okay, and look, that stuff happens. Life doesn't care. Life will take you out. I mean, life is life, and you matter very little to life, and it will beat you down from time to time. It'll wipe you out from time to time. So, getting to the bottom of a hole or a pit in your life, super normal. If you're sitting at the bottom of that pit wondering, how did I get here? Why did this happen? Who did this to me? You are never going to get out. None of those answers will get you out of that hole. Imagine that you're, 10 feet underground and you need to get out. Knowing why you fell in the hole doesn't get you out. It doesn't help at all. Knowing how you fell in, knowing who pushed you, like let's say some really bad person pushed you in. Great, you're still in a hole. And so what really's got to happen is you have to say, hey, I'm here and I want to be out. And so what's useful is, where do I really want to be? And what is my very next step to get there? And then start taking that step. Now, when you get out of the hole, when you're all the way out and you've gotten where you want to go, guess what you should do? Yeah, turn around for a second and figure out, how did that happen and why? So I don't fall back in.
Yes.
But my experience is, at the top of the hole, when you're back out, it's really easy. You have great perspective to see it, and it takes like 2 minutes. Hey, let's check real quick. Awesome. From the bottom of the hole, you don't even have the perspective to see it. It's not even possible to see what happened.
Yeah.
And so many of us are just stuck. And as a leader, how this happens is, you have a project, and let's say it's 2 days late. And the first thing you want to do is, whose fault it is? What happened? How did this happen? Doesn't matter. What matters is, how fast can we get it back on? How fast can we deliver it? And then after we delivered it, after we've saved this with the client, now let's turn around and say, okay, what went wrong there? Because we have 3 other projects like this, and we don't want that to happen again.
Yeah. So one of the things at Five Elk, yeah, Coach Kev, is that we have roles what we call client experience coaches. But
Mm,
one of the things that Becky and I have been talking about to the team, and one of the workshops we did, we have this what we call is owning the value. And for us, it doesn't just stop with you touch base a little bit about the title, right? It just doesn't stop with the title. Like every other internal team member at Five Elk are considered to be leaders and coaches in some other ways, but I guess for our leaders, for our audience in this podcast, like with or without a team, probably Coach Kev, and who would like to be better, particularly in coaching people,
mhm.
what do you think would be good steps that they should take, and where should they start?
So, number one, tell the truth. I mean, that sounds so simple that it almost sounds like I'm not answering your question. But number one, people will hang out with me, I'll coach with them, and they'll say this very often, man, no one talks like you. But the reality is, I don't say anything interesting. I just say the truth, right? Like they'll
Mm,
tell me, like, oh man, I lost $100,000 and I don't know if I can make rent. I'm like, awesome. So you invested your kids' grocery money in the business and decided to lose it. Everybody thinks that, but I'm just a guy who says it out loud, right? So if you want to really lead, first tell the truth. But here, listen, tell the truth to yourself about where you are. Okay. If you see someone else in a pit that you've been in, don't stand at the top and tell them how they shouldn't have fallen in. Jump in. You've already
mm,
been in that pit. You know how to get out, right?
Mm,
There's so many people that are looking at people down in ditches and pointing their finger and saying, hey, you got to do this and this, or they're yelling over. No, go get in the mud with them. Like, you know how to get out. You've already been there. If you've already been there, it's not that bad,
mm,
right? And one of the ways to lead powerfully, okay, is to lead from beside people, not above them. Okay. Yeah, of course
yeah.
I've been above, or I couldn't lead you at all. Like, of course I've been down the trail from where you are, or I couldn't lead you at all. And so lead from your experience. The truth is, if what you're leading is not from experience, then you have no idea how to lead that. Get
mm,
away from it. I'm never going to tell you how to have a baby, Maria. Like, I'm never going to tell you what it's like to be a mom. I'll tell you what it's like to be a
Mm,
dad.
yeah. Hmm.
I'll tell you what I've seen with other women I've coached, but I'll never pretend to have done something I haven't done. If you can stay there, and then that is so much of leadership
Yeah.
is, hey, I know how to do this thing amazing. Let me show you how to do this automation. I totally know this. And then the very next thing is like, well, what about the ads? I don't know anything about ads. I don't know.
mm.
Right. And we sometimes as a leader, we think, well, if I know this thing, I have to know everything. No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, very few people know everything. In fact,
In
no
your
one.
experience, Maria, is that hard for our friends in the Philippines to do, is to almost show that level of, I don't know everything, or there's certain things I'm not good at? Is that a challenge you see with the leaders you work with?
Yeah, because in Filipino culture, like there's that at a young age, and even from my childhood, like there's always that
Mm,
certain level of expectation already. Like
mm,
kind of like our parents would already map out, what we should be, kind of
mm,
thing. So that would then mean that we have all this checklist and tick boxes that we
mm,
really need to achieve in a certain amount
mm,
of time. And I think Anna mentioned that before, Becky. And it's hard to kind of like start with ourselves and say, "Oh, I actually don't know that. Like I'm expected to be at that level, so I should
mm,
just find a way to just say or pretend that I know it."
mm,
And yeah, it's hard because it goes beyond what we were really trained to do, like from our childhood and from the way we were
mm,
just brought up, from our upbringing. It's hard to get out of that. There's so many expectation from us, like even goes beyond academic, even goes
mm, mm,
beyond
mm.
like the
Yeah.
personal side of things. Like say, oh, after you graduate, you should be the one to fund for your brother or sister's schooling and things
Mm,
like that. So there's that level of expectation. And and,
yeah.
and again, for us Filipinos, it's always that constant thing in our mind that plays like, I have to be this. And the minute I don't want to say I don't. Do you get what
Mm,
I mean?
Mm,
Like,
mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna lose my parents' trust the minute I say, oh, actually, mom, I did not get the promotion this year. You know, kind of like that. Or
Mm,
actually, I don't have the money right now. Can I send it to you later? Or things like that.
yeah.
So that's why, you know, everything that Coach Kevin, you've mentioned, like, it's very, very relatable. And in this, I hope this really helps a lot of the Filipinos there. And I know we talk a lot about this, but there's no easy way for us to get it out louder enough to Filipinos because it's just within our genes, I would say. It's already embedded in our culture, in our childhood, and every Filipino out there. And I think what you're saying in earlier, Coach Kevin, you touched about being vulnerable, right? Just looking at yourself first. And sometimes it's hard because for us Filipinos, we have certain levels of perfect picture. Okay, Americans are really good at this. Australians, oh, they have, yeah, perfect noses. We'll talk about noses. Or they have really good way they express in English, whatever culture it is. But then we forget like who we are and start from there.
Yeah.
So that's why it really takes a lot of effort for us to get out of that mindset to begin with.
Man, you said so many good things there.
So many.
I don't even know how to start this. I'm so excited. So first off, one thing, looking at one culture from the perspective, I want to tell you about the best thing that I ate when I was in the Philippines that I did not want to eat for any reason. So I got to the Philippines. They were super excited to welcome me with McDonald's, which I thought was the funniest thing. Like, oh, you're from America, you must want McDonald's. I'm like, no, I don't want to eat McDonald's. Although I did enjoy rice and chicken at McDonald's, which was new. So that was kind of fun, right? But then everyone started talking. The whole team is talking. We're in a van. What happened is we got there. We flew in at midnight, and then we got into a van immediately. So I didn't even have a half hour from arriving, and we drove in a van and we hiked Pulag. Which was a much harder hike than I thought it was going to be. But on the van to Pulag, everyone is talking about this dish, and they're like, "Look, you got to try mango graham." And then there's all these other foods that you got to try, but mango graham just kept coming up. And so graham, like from an American, I'm like, I don't know, all this other stuff sounds good. Like sisig sounds good. Like lumpia is awesome. Graham, I don't know why it's gray. I don't know what gray ham is. Like, and so I kept avoiding it, right? And I kept just like, oh yeah, no, we'll do that next time. And then finally, Bernadette, one of my executive assistants, said, "Hey, why are you avoiding this? Like, why don't you want mango gray ham?" And I said, "Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Mango sounds amazing, especially in the Philippines. But why is the ham gray?" She's like, "What? There's no ham in it. Like, what do you mean?" I'm like, "No, like, why is it gray? Like gray ham to me sounds rotten. Like that sounds terrible. Like I don't know what makes ham gray, but I don't want it." Like she's like, "There's no ham." I'm like, "Well, then why?" She's like, "Gray ham." And so like it's a joke now on the team. I was like, "What do you mean?" And she pulled out what we call a graham cracker, right? Not right. It's just what we
graham.
And I was like, "Graham? Oh, it's Graham. Oh, mango Graham." And she, of course, teases me now. To this day, tomorrow when I get on a call with her, she's gonna go mango Graham. But yeah, it was Graham. It was amazing. Like mango Graham, man. Philippines, you did something awesome with graham crackers and cream cheese or whatever that stuff. It was amazing. But through my cultural lens, gray ham sounded horrific, and I was really scared of it. Despite traveling the world, I was scared of gray ham. But that's because why? I was judging a Filipino culture through the lens of my culture, right? That's a problem, right? Here's where I think the Philippines has a problem. And I come from Louisiana where we have the same damn problem, okay? Just the same problem. Different causes, different sources, but same problem, which is we're the Philippines. We're this awesome, cool culture of like 7,000 islands. I mean, what a cool place to be. Just what an amazing place to be from. And then we get dominated by, let's say, Japan first. And then we get dominated by the Spanish. And the Spanish are, hey, not arguably, absolutely the biggest force on the planet. We have no chance, right? Like, okay. And then in return for that, we get dominated by the Japanese again. And then the Americans come in to liberate us, right? Which really is just some new form of colonization that we're going to call liberation, right? So there's this long history of a culture smashed by a culture, smashed by a culture, smashed by a culture. Here's what I see, and I don't mean this with any disrespect, because the same thing happened to my people. Instead of, oh, hey, we're Spanish now. Oh, hey, we're Japanese now. The Filipinos took it all, and they just kept all the boxes all the way up, right? And so now it's like you start to forget who you are. Nobody can really live up to any one culture's all the boxes. And then you start adding them on top of each other, and then you start adding like the realities of that and how do you do this, right? Like I said earlier, my grandfather grew up speaking French only, and he went to school, and then they beat it out of him. You got beat if you didn't speak English. And so in one generation, we went from being only French speaking to no one. The greatest tool of the colonizer is the mind of the colonized. Okay. Yeah. Initially, sure. They had big guns. They blew people up. I get it. Like initially, right. It was all about guns and stuff. But at the end of the day, it is the mind of the colonized. The colonized mind doesn't believe that it's worthy. Guess what? The people who colonized you, they weren't worthy. They weren't. You know what you have that we don't? I just got back from the Philippines probably 6 months ago. And
Mm-hmm.
I went there and I will tell you that I saw intergenerational homes that we pretty much, that more or less don't exist in America anymore. I mean, they do rarely, but very,
Mm.
man, we lost something. I don't know why we ever went away from that. It was so beautiful to me, such a cool thing to see. Like there's so much love and grandma's taking care of grandkids and mom's there and daughters are there and people feel a responsibility for each other. And even though I don't understand it, there was something
Yeah.
beautiful about it that was just like, wow,
Absolutely. Yeah.
we lost something. Like, I don't know why we left that behind. Like, I just don't. And you guys have kept that. That's all. Like, I came back home and I was like, man, I wish we could do this. My kids, that's not going to happen. One of my kids lives in Australia. She's finding herself in Australia. My other son's about to move to France. And I mean,
Mm.
we trained our kids to launch and they're launching
Yeah.
far. But it is in your mind. Malcolm X said that no man can give you freedom. If you're a free man, you take it. You just take it. You see your opportunity and you take it. For me, it's just become a personal mission because I've seen in my team, it's like, hey, we can do this and we can do it 5 times and you could get paid 3 times what you're getting paid right now. Yeah, right now we have to pay you this because this is what you know how to do. But here's the path to making 3 times the national average in less than 6 months. Why? We're selling to people who have a different amount of money. And if we can do this, it's worth that. And let's go get what we're worth together. And yeah, I'm going to make money too. Great. I feel such a responsibility to the Philippines. I've made tremendous amount of wealth. More than money, though, is the freedom that I've had to be with my kids and to grow my family. Why? Mostly because of my Filipino team. You want to see people who are successful. It wasn't by accident. They took it. When they saw it, again, they didn't steal it. They took their shot. They took their chance. I have one of the most beautiful women on the earth is my wife. If we walked in the room together, you would wonder, am I her punishment or is she my blessing? I mean, and people often are like, wow, how did that happen? I'm like, you know what? I took my shot. I talked to her. That's why. I didn't sit there and think, oh, my nose is too ugly and she's probably never one. I said, man, that is the best woman. I'm going to talk to her. And guess what? She talked back and it worked out. But so many people could have that same experience, but they'll never say hello. Just, it's exciting to me to think that somebody could wake up and see themselves as a force of nature. It doesn't matter where you started. It doesn't matter where you started. It doesn't matter where you are. It's like if life is a giant game of Fortnite, I got born in not a great spot. I was an oyster fisherman in South Louisiana. I had incredible parents. And you know what? I love Louisiana. And Louisiana has some unique opportunities that nowhere else has. We don't mind being dirty and we don't mind getting our hands dirty. We don't mind working hard. Our problem in Louisiana is sometimes we don't stop and think, is this hard work worth doing? We just do hard work. We don't ever ask, is this worth doing? Right? Like Teddy Roosevelt said, the greatest joy in life is hard work worth doing. And I agree with that. And it took me about 20 years of my career to ask the second question, which is this hard work that's worth doing? If it is, I'm all in. No one's going to outwork me. No one's going to get more dirty than me, but it's got to be worth doing.
You may have partially answered this, but I want to ask you because I want to give you an opportunity to answer in your own way. There are people, at 5Elk, but outside 5Elk, who have coach in their job title, or they have, their KPIs are around coaching. So they're going to find a way to coach. But then there's other people, and, a great example would be Reese and Angeli, who are sitting in the background of this podcast, listening to it now and producing, right? They don't have people reporting directly to them. But I look at them and go, oh, no, you have an opportunity to be a coach in the life of the people that you work with each day and around you. What you've articulated so well is that it's a choice. It doesn't happen by default. You need to choose to step into that role. Why should they? It was just, why should people make that choice? Because it's going to be more work. It's going to take time and effort, and no one's going to notice if you don't do it. But why should you still do it? Why should you still make that choice?
First off, the word should, you shouldn't. I mean, you don't have to. Do you want to be a leader? If you want to lead, you don't have to. You can just sit back, right? But remember, what is coach? What is coaching? It's starting somewhere and going somewhere else. It's a horse-drawn carriage. It's pick me up here and drop me off there. So it doesn't matter if someone else follows you. It doesn't matter. Like, can you take something and then get it somewhere? If you look, my grandfather used to tell me, he was an engineer. He said, look at the whole world around you. Everything, every single thing. Like, this pen and this computer screen and the camera that I'm looking at, all the buildings outside, right? The boats, anything you see, someone imagined that and was able to actually create it. And maybe it looks exactly like they imagined it, or maybe not, but they took something from somewhere to finish, and then it was out there in the world, right? That's how you lead. Look, I mean, we can say, oh, she's sitting in the background. No, she's like making sure that all the audio is good. And if the feed drops out, she's there. And we're going to take this from a wildly off topic podcast. Sorry, not sorry, but we're going to take this from a crazy conversation that three powerful people are having to a finished product that people can learn from because of that person who has nobody under them. It's so silly to say like nobody under them. What do you mean? Like you don't rule by dominion. Like, I have 12 employees, so I'm better. No, but the question is, can you take something from somewhere to somewhere else successfully? Can you deliver it? Did you start where you needed to start, and did you finish? And that's how you lead. And helping other people to do that effectively is the best. I'm jazzed up right now because honestly, like in my life, I'm pretty comfortable. It's not that I'm so good, I never have to work or anything. I'm not even close. I just recognize how rich I am. Like I recognize that in the game, if the world is a game of Fortnite, I spawned in like a really comfortable place that has like really good chests. I have gold weapons all over the place. Like it's just I can just walk into any house and there's like, oh, health, great. Other people spawn somewhere where it's just all the worst weapons, or maybe there's no weapon at all and they just got to run around for a while to find it. It doesn't matter where we spawn. At the end of the day, we all have an ability to create, right? And what jazzes me up right now is really helping other people to see, like, hey, activate. And this is how I make money now. It's not just an exploitative arbitrage. Like, oh, I can pay you 6 and I can get 18. So then no, it's like, hey, check this out. People are willing to pay this, people are willing to pay 200. All right. I think you could do it for 50 and then me and you split the difference. How about that? Let's go do it. And then let's see, how can we do it 5 times? And how do we make a better team? You win, I win, we all win, and we all grow together. Right. Yeah, sure. I'm taking a risk. I'm putting the money out. So I'll get a little bit bigger part of the pie, but that's all right. We all share the pie. The pie grows. We all win. Right. And if at some point you want to share a bigger part of the risk and you want to pay for the advertising, awesome. Then you get more of the pie. I'm down with that. Let's go win. Like that's what it's about. And then that's how you change the mind, because this is the other thing you talk so beautifully about, Maria. And it's been like a half hour since you said it, but I'm going to come back. There is an intergenerational poverty of the soul that happens. Okay. It is, yes, maybe it started in a poverty of money, but what happens is a poverty of the soul. When you are actually hungry, when you could actually starve, there is a desperation that comes. Okay. And so either that was your dad or your grandpa, or for me, it was about 6 generations back. But when you have that in your family, it happens again and again, and people starve again and again, there becomes this culture of you had better do this or you're going to die. But that culture extends way beyond the truth. That culture actually holds you down. There is an intergenerational poverty, and the poverty of the soul is not, do I have enough money? It's that I'm worthy of it. Yeah. Like my family we owned the biggest crab production processing plant in America throughout the 90s. Okay. We did 30,000 pounds of crab every single night, which is like 100,000 crabs. We put them in vats that weighed 250 kilos. Okay. There's no lids on the vat. We maybe had 12 crabs fall out of the pot every night, maybe 12. Out of 100,000 crabs, maybe 12 fell out every night because they just hold themselves down. They're scared because if a crab gets behind another crab, it can't see it back there and it's worried it's going to hurt it. And so they all just hold each other in the pot, and guess where the pot goes? Into the boiler. And that works out for us because we never had to invest in lids. They held themselves down.
Yeah.
And there's so many of us doing that. Yeah. This is not about, and I want to say this is not about Filipino. There's so many of us in all of humanity doing it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I read what you're saying. I've been thinking that the whole time. I'm like, that's a United States problem. It's an Australian problem. It's a human. It's a human.
It's a human problem.
Yeah. Just reflecting on what you just said, I resonate with so much of it. And I think, Angeli, and I haven't worked as closely with Reese. So I will eventually say this about Reese, but I've worked really closely with Angeli for a long time. And she has been a coach to this podcast. She gave us suggestions on the title. She gave us advice on how to structure things. She has been the horse-drawn cart that takes us from, hey, we got this weird idea, to we are having beautiful conversations like we are with you, Kevin. And I think about Angeli in those moments, right? And I go, she could have just gone, it's easy for me to say nothing. But she did say something. And the reason she said something is because she cares and she wants to make a difference. And I suppose bringing together a bunch of things you've just said, I think ultimately the best reason I can think of to entertain the idea of wanting to be more of a coach in whatever role you've got is that you have an opportunity to make a difference. And, you know, in the case of a lot of people that surround us, they don't have that sense of self-worth. They don't know what they're capable of. You talked about the poverty of the soul. Like, they are struggling with these things. And as another human being with some objectivity and maybe a little more optimism, you can help someone see what they're capable of and literally change their life. So again, you don't have to, but there's something that you have the ability to create that you're not creating if you don't step into that type of role.
And that is the thing. Like, people think that leading a community or leading a team is get the team to do something. No, you go and move and they'll just come with you. It's not about like, hey guys. No, it's about check out how I work. Like, check out how I work and check out what I get done. You can do it too. Let me show you.
Yes. Yeah. Which is why it all starts with you being honest with yourself, being vulnerable with yourself, coaching yourself before you can even consider doing that for others.
Yes. And that's why coaching, you had better have a coach who's teaching from experience and not from a book, not from AI, because if you haven't done it, you don't know.
I'm so happy to hear how well you understand the Filipino people and our audience, because going into this, we weren't 100% clear on how connected you were. We knew that you had a team, but that doesn't mean that you're connected to them, right?
Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm gonna run an event in the Philippines. Like, that's my next target. I had so much fun the last time I came, and my Filipino team is the secret to my sauce. Like, they're awesome. I mean, I don't. It's not like I understand it. I just love it, and we grew up so similar, so different, and yet so similar that I just love it. I mean, I absolutely. I want to take what's good there, and I want to show you what's good here. Yeah, because there are some things that we figured out that are easy to translate.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Like, we have a client, shout out Tom Davis, if you're listening, who I was hanging out with in Cebu in March. And he said, we focus a lot on the differences between Australia and the Philippines. He said, I think we should start talking about the similarities. And I thought that was such a good point, is that whatever you notice, that's kind of where all your energy goes. And there is a lot that we have in common as well. And I think it's really important to say that. I don't really mind how you want to answer this, though, but I suppose just more broadly, like, the future is going to be different than today. That's always been the case, but it seems at the moment, whether it's right or wrong, it's happening at a more rapid pace. Things are accelerating, and we need to equip ourselves for the future, whatever that looks like. Mm-hmm. What are the opportunities? What's the advice? Whatever way you want to approach this, knowing what you know about the Filipino people and where the ball's likely to bounce and how they're uniquely positioned to be ready for that. What's your advice for them? What do you think about Filipino culture is the bit that is rare, is valuable, needs to be doubled down on? Where should leaders who are looking to the future go from here?
Man, I love this question because it is changing and it is moving faster. And if we're not careful, we're going to overcook. I remember, like, I'm old, so I can remember back in like 2000 and 1990s, you had like a 386 processor in your computer, and there was this really cool way you could hotwire it and it would run twice as fast. That was the coolest thing ever. Like, you would just put a little extra power and your computer ran twice as fast until it melted and maybe caught your wall on fire. Maybe if you were lucky, it didn't catch the fire, right? But it was awesome until it melted. I think we're right on the precipice of that happening, right? If we're not careful with our psyches and our minds. Like, yeah, we can do so much more work now with AI, but can we really handle that? Like, can we really handle that cognitive load? Can we stay ahead? Right? Here's what I think. If you are someone who your whole job is someone tells you what to do, you do it, then you ask them, is that right? And they say yes. And then that's your work. You're not going to have a job in 3 years. If that's all you can do, if all you can do is what you're told, check with them again, and that's it. And that has nothing to do with your boss, because honestly, if your boss keeps people like that around, they're not going to have a job. Okay. What's really cool about this moment in history with AI is, what it rewards? People who know how to pivot, people who know how to handle adversity. The person who was supposed to go to work and then there was a typhoon and there was no power for 4 days or 5 days or a week, and they figured it out. People who can live without air conditioning for 6 weeks because there was a monsoon and something flooded and they still figured out how to make shit happen. When you come from a place like that, which is where I come from, Louisiana, we learn how to pivot. We learn how to move. We see what it is and, like, we figure it out. Like, this is Finally, finally. Okay. I have a nose I don't like, but people will tell me it's better than someone else's nose. Okay. But it doesn't matter because we're finally in the can you get shit done economy. Can you get it done? If you can get shit done, people are going to rain money on you. If you can't, they're never going to. Okay. Just pushing stuff in a circle is going to be all AI. But this is the time for the scrappy people. Like, this is what I am. I'm just scrappy. I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid to get dirty. I'm not afraid to pivot. I'm not afraid to see, ooh, this didn't work. Let me go do this other thing. That, man, come on, tell me that's not the Philippines. It's awesome. Like, you know how to handle, like, I met someone in the Philippines whose house got destroyed by a volcano. I never even imagined a volcano in my life. And he's like, oh yeah, we lost our place the last time the volcano. Like, wow, that's wild. But then what was he doing? He was taking me on a fishing tour. Like, this guy, his house not that long ago was destroyed, and here he is making money with me, taking me on a tour, telling me all about, like, you would have never known. Why? Because he could pivot, he could figure out what was next, and he can make the next move. Like, remember, guys, like, I know that there's so much negative out there about like the price of gas and the world and everything's going to blow up. Let me tell you, as a kid, I was born in 1975. When I was in school, like young school, we were so sure that the Russians would blow us up with nuclear bombs that like once a month we would practice getting under our desks. I remember this vividly. And I remember thinking like, how is this desk going to protect me from like, what is it? It's a nuclear bomb. Like, what is this desk made out of? You know what I mean? Like, how is this helping? But we would do it. And so I was terrified. I remember being 12 years old, and there was a passenger jet that accidentally got shot down by the Russians. So the Russians somehow shoot down a passenger jet with Americans on it. And I remember going to bed that night, seeing that I was 100% sure I would not wake up. I was 100% sure that overnight nuclear holocaust was going to happen and I would be dead. I was 12. I'm 50. Okay. For a long time, people have told me what's going to destroy the world. Okay. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm not saying that it won't happen. I am saying, you know what? If I had believed that when I was 12, I would have 38 years of experience that would just be wasted. Why not? Don't worry about what's happening at the White House. Don't worry about what's happening in the Capitol. Worry about what's happening in your house. Get very, I see so many people following all the injustices around the world, and they don't even take care of their own bills, or they don't even take care of what's right in front of them. You know, like there's something that needs to happen in the house. Their kid is crying and they're too busy, reading a feed about the injustice that's happening in some place that they have no ability. Like, you can handle your house. You can handle who you are. And don't get hung up in this story. Personally, I love jeepneys. That's one of my favorite cool things. And I didn't like the little motorbikes because I couldn't fit. Like, I barely fit. I looked like an overstuffed package in the motorbikes and the trikes. But the jeepney is cool. Like, it's awesome. It just works. Doesn't matter how old it is. Doesn't matter how dirty it is. Doesn't matter how many people. I mean, there's an endless number of people. How many people can you fit in a jeepney? All of them. That's how many you can fit, right? And it's cheap. It's like so cool. It's like cheap, and there's tons of people, and you meet people. That's all. It works. Is it the right way? Who cares? It works. It's awesome. Like, that's where we need to get as leaders, is like, hey, what works? And that's the advantage that you have as Filipinos. It is, because you know how to pivot. You know how things can go wrong. You know what to do when there's no rules for something, but you just have to own that and move forward.
I think that's such a beautiful energy. It's a beautiful way to wrap up a conversation that I wish would never end. But, when you're sitting in a conversation with someone and they're like, I'm in this tough situation, I don't know how to get out of it. If you've had experience, awesome, share it. But if you haven't, at least just agreeing, cool, you don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, but two of us together have a better chance of coming up with a plan and a solution to this than one of you on your own. Yeah. That's a beautiful part of coaching, is that you can lend another perspective and collaborate on a solution. And like I often say, if plan A doesn't work, there's 25 other letters in the alphabet. Cool. No one really knows what they're doing. And so let's just figure it out as we go. And like you said, something will work eventually. And then we've got a new experience that we can share with others.
Look, I'm just going to say this one time. The Post-it note is the best-selling office like supply in the history of the world. Like, no other office supply have they sell this many of, right? I mean, they kind of cheat because they sell them like 200 at a time. But the Post-it note is sold more than anything, right? That came from a project to create the strongest glue on earth. That project failed so bad that the glue was so weak that the engineers could touch the paper to the glue, touch it, put it on the wall, and it didn't leave a trace, right? And somebody smart came in and was like, oh, wow, that's a product.
I think we're on the side.
It was a total failure. It was but it's the best-selling office product of all time. And that wasn't what it was supposed to do. That's cool. Like, that's our opportunity right now, because that's what AI is going to let us do. It's
Yeah.
going to let us see opportunities, going to let us move, But if all you're good at is taking orders, like the colonized mind is not going to survive this. It's just
Yeah.
not. You got to liberate. I don't mean that about Filipinos. I mean that about
Yeah.
me, everyone else.
Yeah.
Like the mind that says there's a right way and there's no other way is going to
Yeah.
disappear quick.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think problem solving, pivoting, resilience, these are things that potentially our friends in the Philippines don't realize they're so good at because that's just normal for them. But as an outsider, I resonate with so much of what you said. And I'm like, yeah, these guys are so much more equipped for what's coming than a lot of my friends in Australia who don't have much resilience because they haven't been through many tough times. Have had people around them solve all their problems. I haven't had to do much problem solving. I think you're right. I think there is so much that is at the fingertips of our friends. They just need to see it and believe it.
If you'll take it, if you'll use it, if
Yes.
you'll jump, like if,
Yeah.
and that's big 2 letters.
Now, Coach Kevin, you might know this from being a listener of the podcast, but we have 6 questions that we like to ask at the end. They're called our quick climb questions, and they are rapid fire. First thing that comes into your brain. Give us the shortest, sharpest, most real answer that you can. I want it. I want it all. And that's it. Tell us the absolute truth as you see it. Going to start with, what is a big mistake you've made as a leader, and what did you learn from it?
Lie and hide that I don't know. The most powerful thing you can say when you don't know is I don't know. And that's leading my family. I had young kids. We were divorced. We had never been through that. And the most powerful thing I ever did was look at my kids and say, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how to win this. And pretending that you do know when you don't is the dumbest thing you'll ever do.
Yeah. Second question. Yeah, that's perfect. What's a surprisingly simple leadership tip that actually works?
Lead yourself. What's the thing you know you need to do that you're not doing? Do that. And then go tell someone else how you did that. And you can show them how to do that. Lead yourself. Like lead. If you're not leading yourself, you can't lead.
Yeah.
People are going to be listening to this episode and going, oh, well, Kevin's a force of nature in the sense that he's got it all figured out, and I just need to kneel at the altar of Kevin and be more like him, which I know is the antithesis of your message. But just to highlight that to the listeners, what's something that you are not so good at that you're trying to get better at, even though you're still figuring it out?
First, we could have my wife on here next week, and then she'd fill the whole time with exactly what's wrong. And she'd be right. And she would be right. Yeah, I spent most of my life obese. Like I've spent most of my life over 30 pounds overweight. Despite being a D1 athlete, like an elite athlete when I was young, I let it go. I cheated in every relationship I've ever been in, which is horrific for me and everyone else. It just creates a total disaster. And I'm not proud of it. And I recently, in 2021, we bet the farm on a business. It went down horribly, and I let it even horribly. And I would not let go. I would not admit it was over, to the point that my family almost couldn't eat for a month. I could just go on. Like, I'm not leading from a place of, yo, check out my Lambo, be like me. I just know what it's like to be in the mud, and I don't like it. And I know how to get up. And I've gotten up again and again and again. I had 2 years ago, I had a heart attack, and that's partly from what I ate, partly genetics. But yeah, I'm not proud of that. Like, I wish that was one of the hardest things to swallow. I was like, oh my God, I had a heart attack. I have 2 stents in my heart right now. I'm not perfect. Anybody who tells you they have it all figured out is a liar. I've worked with some of the biggest names on the planet, and you quickly see what their thing is. Oh, that one's cocaine, or oh, that one is anger issues, or oh, that one is you quickly see. My issue is like right here. You can see it on my belly. That's there's no hiding my issue. It walks in the room in front of me. And I'm happy for that. I'm right now actually really changing that. I'm down like over 50 pounds, but
Nice.
I'm grateful that I had that, because it forced me. I couldn't hide. There's no hiding it. Like when you meet me, you meet my belly. And so there's no hiding that I'm not perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. Congratulations on the path you're on.
Yeah.
Thank
Road to healthiness and fitness.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful. Fourth question. If you could give one piece of leadership advice to your younger self, what would that be?
That all of the abuse and all of the injustice will give you superpowers. So it sucks.
Ooh.
It's not okay. It never should have happened. And this is going to make you exactly who you are. Like, that is why you can do what you do. That is why you're so in tune with people. That is why you pay so much attention. That abuse, that unfairness, that being overlooked, all of that hurt. I wish I could tell my 12-year-old self, yo, this ends really awesome. It's just going to suck for a while.
Yeah.
It's just going to suck for a while. But you know what? In the end of this, I wouldn't trade it.
Mm.
What would be your must-read book or books for people who want to be better? We usually say leaders. I'm going to say coaches. Do you have a book that you highly recommend people read?
I do. There's so many, but I'm going to give you two. I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to take, and I'm going to give you two. I'm going to tell you one that I think is really awesome, and then I'm going to tell you the one that broke me and that I really needed. The one that broke me and that I really needed was "You Are a Badass" by Jen Sincero. I actually coached for I walked into a bookstore. That's how old I am. Those used to exist. And a book fell off of the shelf. I bumped into the shelf and a book fell off of the shelf. I said, "You Are a Badass." I thought it was, oh, I got to buy this. Of course I'm a badass. Like, I mean, how do you not buy that book when it falls off the shelf? And it changed my whole life. And it changed my whole life because at the end of every chapter, she says, "Love yourself." And I hated that. I hated that. I hated, like, I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, I just got to go perform. Like, it doesn't matter if I love myself. I just got to get shit done. Like, who cares? And she opened me to the idea that I could love who I am and still create the next person. So yeah, Jen is amazing. So Jen Sincero, "You Are a Badass."
What a title.
Okay, last question. You might have probably experienced this when you visit here in the Philippines, but what is your go-to karaoke song, Coach Kevin?
Creep by Radiohead.
No.
I love karaoke. My wife and I do carpool karaoke all the time. We like, if we have a long trip, we put karaoke on. My kids hate it, and they all participate usually. But yeah, I definitely fit into Filipino culture. Like, there's no karaoke song I won't try. So yeah, Creep by Radiohead.
Okay.
I'm going to go part B on that question. I saw one of your videos on Instagram that you referenced Guitar Hero. What's your favorite song to play on Guitar Hero?
Whatever one is on, and then it's not set to, it's not set to advanced. Whatever one takes less than 5 buttons. So, you know, I max out at 4 buttons on Guitar Hero. Yeah. I will say I'm as bad at Guitar Hero as I am at the real guitar.
Yeah. Congratulations. You've survived the quick climb questions. We're going to level with you, Kevin. When your email came through to us, we weren't sure whether it was legit. And maybe this is an interesting lesson for the listeners in imposter syndrome, thinking, oh, we're not worthy of someone on the other side of the world listening to our podcast. But to fill in our listeners on the story, you're the very first guest we've had that sent us an email and said, hey, I really love your podcast and I would love to be a guest on it. I have a Filipino team. And we were kind of thinking, you know, is this some random person in a obscure country in the world who's just got a mandate to send 50 emails like that every day and to pretend they've listened to the podcast and to create some artificial link to the Philippines, but really it was just an activity for you to get onto more podcasts or to sell your business or something like that. I've got goosebumps as I say this, but I cannot believe how wildly different this experience has been compared to what we thought it may be.
100%.
And it has been one of the most powerful hour and a bits that I have spent in years. I cannot believe how much you understand our audience, how connected you are to the Filipino people. How much wisdom you have.
It's not understand, it's love. It is not understand, it's love.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Truly love.
I think you probably have the same feeling as I do. I fly into the Philippines now and I don't go, I'm here for work. I go, I'm in my second home. And that's a genuine feeling. And it's because of the people. There's something intoxicating and beautiful and almost addictive about the spirit of the Filipino people. But I suppose, I'm not going to speak on behalf of Maria, but I'm guessing she's feeling the same way, which is that I'm just so happy that we responded to your email, that we booked the conversation and had the chat that we just had. We're so lucky that we get to, selfishly spend time with people like you, but more importantly, ask you questions that we believe will make a difference to the people who are listening. And in our own way, this is our version of coaching them to get from where they are to where they want to be. And I just can't thank you enough for listening, firstly, for reaching out, for sharing so openly, and honestly, for caring enough to want to share all of this to make people's lives better. We're so lucky to get to speak to people like you.
I'm going to come clean with you, if that's okay, since we're coming clean.
I love it. Let's go.
Actually, the reason that that email came out is because of Bernadette, my executive assistant, who it turns out that if I was born a beautiful Filipino girl instead of in Louisiana as a 300-pound man, I would have
Yeah.
been Bernadette. We met on my trip and we had just hired her. I mean, like she'd only worked for us about 6 weeks. And we wondered if we should take her on the trip because this is a big adventure. And we're like, man, she's only worked here a little while. Maybe we're overdoing it. And I'll never forget getting there and my COO saying, oh my gosh, she's you. Like you guys are the same person. Bernadette said, you should be on this. You should do this. You need to listen. She's the reason I listened. And she is someone that you're helping. She is your audience. Like she's amazing. Right. And it's exactly what you said. Can you lead if there's no one reports to Bernadette? It doesn't matter. She doesn't care. She led anyway. She led me. She led from the bottom up. And this is happening. And I have a feeling there's going to be more behind this. And I'm just really excited, guys. Anything I can do to help you guys, any training I can give you, it's yours. I want to see this happen because it has nothing to do with the Philippines. I come from a place where there is this there is this feeling that we're less than, that's total crap. It's just not real. It was never real. And anybody I can help to get out of that prison. It's like a prison that doesn't even have walls. There's like 2 bars and we're pushing our face up against it, pretending we're stuck. You know, anybody I can help to get out of that, I'm all about it. And I just very much appreciate you.
Yeah.
And
Thank
make
you
sure
so
you
much,
thank
Coach
Bernadette.
Kevin.
'cause,
Yes.
Bernadette was the first person that we had evidence was listening to the podcast outside
Shout
of
out.
Daryl Asoro and back Abigail Gatling. Our family are the only, and colleagues at 5L are the only people we know for a fact are listening. And it was actually the first time we were like, there's people listening to this outside of our immediate sphere. So thank Bernadette for finding the podcast whatever way she did. And thank you for being so generous and heartfelt in sharing your journey. This chat's going to help a lot of people, I promise.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Asenso Tayo Leaders. If something landed with you today, don't just keep it in your head. Make sure you try it. Kaya mo yan. Asenso Tayo Leaders is brought to you by 5Elk, a team who helps great businesses build great offshore teams. If you're curious about what we do or what it's like to work with us, you'll find everything you need at 5elk.com. And if you're leading people, but want to find ways to do it better, make sure to follow us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or your podcast platform of choice, so you're the first to know when we release a new episode. Remember, you're not meant to have it all worked out. Just keep taking the next step. Asenso tayo!